What is up, my beautiful people? Today, despite popular belief, we're not going to talk about throwing firecrackers in the water to kill orcas. Actually, I don't even think you can kill them. They weigh like 6 tons. Today, we're going to talk about how boats are built, how to best purchase a boat not to have this problem, or at least not to have it sink, and what it is, what they're doing, and we're going to watch a few videos, and I'm going to give you my opinions on what's going on in those videos. Seems to me that most of these orca attacks are happening to production boats, and a lot of them are charter boats, and a lot of them are coastal cruising along the coast of Portugal and Spain, and then Gibraltar a little bit too. And I just wanted to give you my opinion on, okay, here's what you can do to mitigate this problem if you live in that region. And basically what it is if you want me just to give it away to you real quick, it's that the way that the boats are designed. All right, so this is the design drawings for the Bluewater 50. It's a brand new boat. It's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be kind of like the Moody. And this is the bulkhead drawing. Okay, you see this right here? This bulkhead. And you see this right here? This is the rudder. This is the rudder shaft. This circle is the rudder shaft. This is the rudder. And then this is what's called a I forgot. The quadrant. Oh boy. Don't listen to this guy. So yeah, the quadrant goes on the shaft, and the shaft goes back here. And what this is a watertight compartment. This is a watertight bulkhead right here. So if you were to break that rudder off, because it seems to me that most of these dolphins, these humongous dolphins, are pushing on the rudders and not quite like biting them and ripping them like a dog would, but the way that they're playing with them, they're pushing them and they're bending them and they're breaking them. And I can show you just some footage really quick of, this is a really famous one. I've showed this on my channel before, but this is Arcona. This is an Arcona 460. That's what happens when the shaft breaks and then the boat is going down. Like there is almost no way you can stop that from sinking the boat, because the way that boats are built, they have a shaft log. They call it a shaft log. It's like a big tube of fiberglass that's molded into the hull, and then that shaft lives inside that tube. And if you break that tube, it is very, very difficult to fix, and nearly impossible if you are oh shit, I didn't show it. Give me a second. Here's the actual damage. So that one has broken off the shaft log, and if your rudder's still moving around down there, there's no way to get in there with like epoxy or anything, because the rudder's just going to move the epoxy out of the way before it sets. So really, if you were to break a rudder off and it didn't have that watertight bulkhead, you're pretty much screwed. Like this Arcona 460, this is a bad deal. You know, it went down quick too. Watch how fast it goes. And it looks like they're out of sight of land here. And it looked like they were filming from a life raft, which is crazy. So we're going to talk about all that. I'm going to go over exactly how all this works, and then I'm going to get you guys opinions. Let's keep the firecrackers and diesel fuel and guns to a minimum. Okay, this is not about killing the orcas. This is about what you can do to mitigate it as a sailor, and you know what we should do as a community. In my opinion, you should buy a better boat that's designed for that sort of failure. And the crazy part is there's not a lot of boats in the world that are designed with a watertight bulkhead in front of the rudder post. Now you can get one that's designed a little differently, that the rudder post is higher, like the where the rudder comes above inside the boat, that is higher than the water line. So technically, even if you do break the rudder post and break the shaft log, it won't sink the boat because that's all above the water line. And then, you know, there's mitigating circumstances where if you were to take a big shaft that's solid stainless and push it and it breaks the entire boat, it's not a lot you can do. But yeah, let me say hi to a few of you. What's up? Hi guys, nice to see you here. This is my first live stream as Be the Captain. I just rebranded my channel and killed Sailing Zingaro. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys loved that name. I did too. It's special. But it's time to move on and it's time to evolve. And life is about change, right? Don't fear change. That's why, yeah, I shaved my mustache. Did you notice that? I've been wanting to shave my face for a long time. You know what's funny as a YouTuber, you know, there is some things that you know you should do. It's like common practice to do, and one thing is like facial hair length, the studio that you have. Like a lot of really good YouTubers, really successful YouTubers have the same exact studio they've had for 15 years, and I don't, because I'm kind of a nomad. But you know, there's going to be some changes in the future for this channel. I am going to get my own studio finally, dude. That's actually all because of you guys, because whoever buys my book gives me the fluidity to be able to rent a place with, you know, my own little house, my own little studio house on it, which I can't tell you for how long I have wanted that. It's such a pain in the ass to try to set all this stuff up. Let me show you something real quick. I'm going to break the fourth wall for a second. Okay, I think you can still hear me. Let me make sure. I'm just going to show you my little setup here, because look what Anna made me. She got me some fruit and some nuts and some leche. But look at all this stuff. Like, I've got a light here, I've got a light up here, I've got this, I've got that mic stand, I've got the computer, I've got my book ready, I've got extra lights, I've got power coming through from a power adapter going down there, and basically I'm taking over the entire freaking room, right? And I just need this to be, imagine having to set this up every single week, or every time you want to work, you got to spend an hour and a half setting this stuff up. And then power is a pain in the ass, because I would like to go outside, but I don't have an extension cord that has 3 prongs on it, because I need a light, a computer, and a power for my camera. So that's kind of like a behind the scenes thing. I'll probably cut that out of the video, but welcome. Thank you guys. But ultimately, I'm just trying to thank you for buying my book. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. So who's here? Van de Bos. Greetings from the Netherlands. What's up, man? My Dutch friend. Ted Tremper's here. What's up, dude? Good to see you. 555 Frontier is here. Kenny P88. What's up? Cam J38. Howdy James from Australia. Wow, you're up early, bro. It's like 5 in the morning in Australia. Let's see. Graham is here. He is our moderator for today. Thank you very much, Graham. I very much appreciate it. So if you guys have any questions, as usual, if you guys have never been to one of these live streams before, I do this every week at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, although I might change that to UTC now, just because that daylight savings time is so dumb. Why don't they get rid of that? Anyway, I give away books during this time. If you have any questions, you can write them down, and Graham will get them, and he'll save them, and he'll send them to me over WhatsApp. And if you'd like a book, you can comment Captain when I say I give away a book about every 30 minutes if I can remember, or if Graham calls me and reminds me. Okay? So let's get into some of these videos. I have decided to turn off the sound for these videos. 1, because I don't know what's copyrighted, and 2, because it gets in the way and there's an echo, and I can't hear unless there's going to be an echo on my mic, and I think it's better if we just kind of watch these together. So I've shown you this one. This is the sinking of the Arcona, and this is amazing footage. Like, look how fast this freaking thing goes down. Boom, it's done. It's gone. It was like 4 seconds once the hull was underwater. But this is the real part of that tells a lot. And they probably got this piece of it from for insurance reasons, right? They wanted to show the insurance company, hey, this is what broke. Here's the proof. Give me some money for the boat. But you know, like for us sailors, this is the worst problem that you can have. Am I showing this? Yeah. This is the worst problem that you can have out to sea, because like I said, the way that if you didn't hear in the first part, the way that the boat is built, it's laid up with fiberglass and maybe composite. Usually down there, it's probably solid. And then it has a tube of fiberglass that comes up, and that rudder shaft is inside that tube. like a sleeve. And if that tube breaks off, a lot of the time on most of these boats, underneath here, where that tube hits the bottom of the hull, is under the waterline. So if you break that off, it's almost impossible to fix. So this is super, super scary. And the one way to mitigate this is to have watertight bulkheads. Now I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that I can show you this. Most boats, when they're built, you know what's cool is Rand sailing right here. If you guys don't know Rand sailing, they're building their own boat. He sailed all over the place. I think he went around Cape Horn years and years ago, and badass sailors. Found a girl, fell in love, had a family, and is building his own boat, which is also freaking cool. I'd love to. I don't want to build a boat. I would love to build a house one day, like, you know, my design and my, you know, I get the land, and I can bulldoze it how I want, and I can have a pool if I want, and, you know, it'd be really cool to design it. I don't know about like putting every stone on the damn thing, but yes, very cool to help with that. Whereas these guys are building every single piece of stick on this thing is them. And this is a watertight bulkhead. So this is the forward one. Usually the boat will have at least one watertight bulkhead, sometimes two. I don't know how many bulkheads this gentleman is putting in his boat, but he is doing a fantastic job. That boat is going to be super cool. I can't wait to see it when he's done. But anyway, what he'll do is that is a fully laminated piece of probably foam, I'm guessing he's using. And then he'll glass the shit out of it and glass it to the boat and fair it. And it'll just be like, that's the inner part of the hull. So actually where the people are, that's the end. And then the rest of the whole boat in the front is this collision center, so you can ram that bastard into a big rock or into another boat, and you're not going to sink the whole boat. Yeah, very cool. Another option here, let me just show you. Give me a second. Here is the drawing for the Bluewater 50. This is a new Bluewater coming out. It's in the molds right now. So this one has, let's see if I can see. I don't know if these are the updated drawings or not. Looks like it has one watertight bulkhead here. So that'll be fully laminated. And then it has one in the back. And the one in the back is actually the one that's more important to this conversation, because this bulkhead is going to keep the boat from sinking if you were to knock off the rudder post or the shaft log. And let me just show you one more. Give me a second. Sorry, it's hard to switch around on all these. Okay, this is the Kraken Yachts, and he's done the same thing. This is, we're just going to watch this little video together real quick. And the way that he's done it, there's two crash bulkheads in the front. So keep going. Let's see the bulkheads. Here we go. So he's put one here in the chain locker, and then one here. Usually this is going to be a sail locker. That's where we put our sails for a cruising boat. And then one in the back here. Same as that Bluewater. So a lot of the manufacturers of these offshore type boats put in these systems because they know this failure almost cannot be fixed. Even if you are a 20-year sailing veteran, you're a cruiser with 100,000 miles, you can fix anything with a piece of duct tape and some mastic. You cannot fix this problem because it's a moving around, and it's it's one of the worst ones you can have. I mean, I would say springing a plank on a wooden ship, which that probably doesn't happen to many people anymore, because springing a plank, if you don't know, would be, you know how wooden boats are made up of big planks of wood and they have bolts in the side. If one of those bolts failed and the entire plank sprang out like that, you'd have a hole about this big. That'll let in so much water that really the only way to stop that is to put like a sail over the boat and drape it around the boat. And good luck doing that in a storm. Could be done. I'm sure it's been done, and that would slow the water. That's why a lot of these manufacturers, like the Kraken and the Bluewater, these guys are putting in Kevlar into their boats. So the way that this boat is laid up, these are super cool, man. I'm not getting paid to say this. I just like these boats. You guys know I work for these guys. I do deliveries for them and I commission their boats. And I do that because I think they're the best blue water boats on the market. And they're just cool and they pay me well and I like the owner and it's fun to hang out with him and he feeds me. so that's really the skinny of it. And the layup on these fucking boats are 24 layers of glass, right? But every other layer is Twaron, which is Kevlar, which is bulletproof material that police officers wear. When they put on a bulletproof vest, that is layers of Kevlar. So this boat is literally bulletproof, which I really love. And it doesn't really add, like I was talking to Kyle, the owner of this company, and he says, you know, it doesn't really add that much money, that much expense to the boat. It's just harder to work with because it's different than glass. Glass is super easy and super pliable and super flexible, and Twaron, obviously, because of its capabilities, is not. Now, this is what that does for the boat. If you were to hit, like, say, an iceberg, right? You hit an iceberg on the front of this thing, and you would break the bond between the layers of glass because the thing would bend in. It wouldn't tear apart, but it would start weeping water, probably, like most likely. And if a steel ship or a container ship or something were to hit the side of this and bend it in enough, you'll break the resin, but you're not going to break the actual fibers. So yes, you'll have weeping of water, but you're not gonna sink the boat because of that. Kyle has a story where one of these boats went up on the rocks, like full speed, full sail, it was a 70-foot boat. So it was like doing 9 knots, and it hit so hard that the entire keel was up in the rocks and the rig fell off because it was such a violent hit. And the thing was up there for 2 days, and then they drug it off the rocks and they pulled the keel off of it and everything was fine. Like the whole bottom was fine. They just had to do repairs on it, relaminate it, and put the keel back. They just pulled it off to just make sure it was going to be okay. Obviously, it cost them a mast and it cost them all the rigging and the time and everything, but wow, that's crazy. So anyway, this is the way that I like boats to be built, is because, you know, this isn't built this way for orcas. This is just an opportunity for me to show you how different boats are built, and for us to kind of watch some videos and see what's going on. So, oh, that's Kyle right there. Sorry, buddy, I'm in a live stream. So orcas attack and sink another boat. Let's watch this real quick because this is a cool one. This one, you can tell this is a charter boat because the name on the boat is like a company name, like Nautilus, maybe Nautica Sailing or something like that. This is almost definitely a charter boat. And the orcas are actually pushing on the rudder. They're pushing it, and they're pushing the boat around. Looks like a Beneteau, and it looks like this one went down pretty fast. Oh, it's a Jeanneau. I can't really tell, to tell you the truth. They look the same. Everybody was fine. They're obviously coastal cruising. They had probably rented this boat. They're coastal cruising, and everything is, you know, everything's going to be fine. So this is where the orcas are. They're on the coast of Portugal, and they go around to Spain. It doesn't show it on this diagram, but usually they're around here on this coast. Sometimes I think they've gone into the Med, but I'm not sure. I think it's like the same couple pods of orcas out here that are causing all the problems. Kyle.
Yeah.
I'm live streaming right now.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about your boat. How many watertight bulkheads does the new 50 have? Because I'm looking at the drawings.
Well, I mean, similar to the 56 has basically 3, but kind of divided up into 2 aft lockers plus the transverse stern. Same with the one up in the bow, and the same will be set up in the 56. So there'll actually really be 2 aft because there's gonna be a storage area, then there'll be another one going into the living area.
Okay.
There's gonna be 2 port and starboard, I guess is what I'm trying to say, plus the one on the stern.
Oh,
And then the forward one aft.
these 2 bulkheads here, I know you can't see me, but these 2 bulkheads here are going to be watertight, and then this one aft. I just think that's such a cool design, man. I don't know if I have.
Yeah, no, thanks.
I don't know if I have the updated drawings, but that's going to be a bitch. Okay, I'll talk to you later, buddy. Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a good one. I'll talk to you tomorrow about travel schedule.
Okay, bye.
Ciao.
Yeah, we're going to go deliver a boat from Florida to Newport for the Newport Boat Show. So if you guys are around Newport, come in and see me. I'm going to be there on the Bluewater 56. We're going to have at least one of them there, and it's going to be awesome. I love the show. I love Newport, man. If you've never been to Newport before, it is such a pretty town and nice people, very, very sailing oriented. That's where the Hershoff Museum is. Just a cool place. All right. I don't usually take calls on live streams, but since we were talking about his boat, might as well take his call. All righty. So let me just show you a couple more things, and then I'm going to take some questions, and then it's going to be a time to give away a book in about 5. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do it now. We're going to do it early. Comment captain below in the chat, and I will take all of those comments, feed them into an LLM, and they'll get me a winner. Okay. And you'll get a signed book. I give away signed books during this live stream. This one's not. I don't even have a signed book. Yeah. They're almost out, actually. There's only like 350 of them left. So if you guys want to buy a signed copy of the book, I have 350 of the first printing, first editions, and there's only 1,000 of them. They come with a card that I painstakingly glued in. It's a funny story, actually. I'm going to go on a tangent just for a second, and then we'll go back to watching those videos. But I had let me go this here. I had 1,000 of these books, like a whole pallet of these books shipped to my mom's house. And then I had a bunch of people come over, a bunch of people from my WhatsApp group. By the way, I have a WhatsApp group that's available to any paying patron. And a bunch of people showed up and they helped me, but we had to unpack the books, spray them down with this stuff that would make it so the gold didn't fall off it, and then glue in this card. And I got like a embossing tool to emboss the cards with, and then I signed them. It was a pain in the ass. It took me like I don't even know, 15 days or something like that. It was a lot. And then pack them back up in the same boxes, even though I ripped a bunch of them, put them back on the pallet, try to figure out how they went. It was fun. I love doing that kind of stuff, but everything in life is an experience. I probably wouldn't do that again. Needless to say, that is what's going to happen there. Okay, so let me show you what's going on here. Give me a second. I'm going to open this up a little bit so you can see what I see. Oh yeah. That's a lot of captains here. Okay, I'm going to give you guys till the count of 10. I'm going to get my my chat GPT set up because this is the own. Okay, new winner. Oop, no sinner. Winner. 1 entry per person. And then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to get you guys chats. Oh, Jesus. How did I do that? There we go. Oh, come on, man. I can never figure out how to do this right. 3, 2, 1. Will my book work against the orcas? Yeah, I think so. I think you can just throw it in there with the orcas. Okay. Going back to ChatGPT. New winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Brr, drum roll, please. Removing duplicate entries. These are the unique and valid captain entrants. Yeah. I just want you to pick one, dude. I don't want to know which one they are. Oh, here we go. 117 entrants. Winner is the Sailor and the Beauty. Congratulations, the Sailor and the Beauty. You are the now proud owner of a signed book. Now, if you already have a book, you can either do one or two things. You can pass it on to another person, and I'll run this again, or you can take the book and gift that other book to a sailor, okay? A sailor in need is a friend indeed. You want to come here and say hi? Come over here. Are you watching? Are you watching on your phone? That's weird that you'd watch on your phone from the couch.
No, I watch in the comments.
Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Hold on, I'm still in the lower view here. There we go. Everybody needs to see your beautiful face.
I look crazy today.
Thank you for hooking me up with some tea and some. Would you please make me some more?
Yeah, let's talk about Orca.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm
Everybody wants to talk about beating orcas to death. Okay, let's do it. What are some of the things that you guys suggest that we can do against orcas? Okay, let's do it. Let's go down that path. When I thought about doing this video, I was thinking about doing, hey, orcas break the rudders, but the captains, sink the boats. And honestly, the captains aren't really doing much. What you're seeing when you're looking at some of these videos, like for instance, this is a, I think he's Dutch just because of his name, Joke Summer, and he's got some really good underwater footage of these orcas. And it looks to me like the orcas are not actually biting the rudders. It looks like they're just pushing them. Do you see it? Do you see him doing it? He's pushing on the rudder and he's messing with it. And I think he knows it's going to disable the boat. I mean, there are pictures of people that have pulled their boats out that definitely have bite marks. I think at a certain point they will bite it. And even with a skeg, they're biting through the skegs and like tearing off the rudders. This is why I think that most boats should have a at least a partial skeg on their rudder. And if you don't know what that is, I'll show you in just a second. So I need to bring back up the drawing of this boat. This is a skeg right here. So this does a couple things. One, so the boat that is in question on this one, that boat has no skeg. This is where the bottom rudder bearing is, and then it comes out of the boat, and it's a more of a kind of a blade rudder. And this one has a skeg. So this is part of the hull of the boat here, and then this will be like a little cap, like a bronze cap that's bolted into the bottom of this skeg. And then that rudder hangs here. So it's got a bearing here and a bearing here and a bearing here. So it's 3 bearings, and it's a lot more balanced than having it on just one bearing here. And if you break it off, like if a big dolphin came and pushed on this and busted it off, it would probably break off halfway, and then you'd still have half a rudder, unless that damn dolphin came and got the rest of it. But even so, you got more of a chance with this rudder than you do with this type of rudder. Now, these guys were pretty lucky. It did bend their shaft, it looks like, but it didn't break their rudder all the way off, and they were able to sail home. And it didn't sink their boat, which is super, super good. It says a lot about the engineering of the bearing system here, actually, that it's strong enough for that. Thank you very much. Gotta have my tea. Ooh, it's hot. So I want to talk to you guys now, and I want to see what your opinions are on what you can do against this. There are some wives' tales. Let's just talk about them, really, because some people say if you put some diesel fuel into a bottle of water and pour that in the water, that'll get them away. I don't really love that suggestion. One, because there are definite ecological ramifications for that, but also you don't want to hurt. Really, like, you know how much trouble you can get into if you were to like burn their eyes or something with that. Plus, it's just not the right thing to do. Fireworks, same thing. That's crazy, dude. I actually heard of a guy that stopped his boat, put some speakers against the hull, and played Jimi Hendrix, and they left him alone. They rocked out for a minute, and they took off. I don't know how true this is, but I think that's a great idea. I mean, kill him with peace or something right like that. I'm serious about this too. I'm not gonna go fucking throwing fireworks or shooting guns into the water at orcas. It's just, that's not right. All right. It's time for your questions, my friends. Let's see. First of all, Musket Thunder. When is the Bluewater 56 giveaway? Yeah, dude. That's a $1.8 million boat. I'm going to need to sell a lot of books to give away a $1.8 million boat. I may give away a passage on one of those boats. That'd be fun, huh? All right, next. Musket Thunder again. Also, what route would you take to sail from New Orleans to the Caribbean side of Costa Rica? Hey, that's a great question. Let's go and look. It has nothing to do with orcas, but let's see. So from New Orleans, Louisiana. All right, let's go down to New Orleans and the Caribbean side of that's probably close enough. So, well, I would definitely come out this way and then come down. There's a lot of oil derricks in the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. So you got to be really careful when you sail through there. So be very, very, very attentive while you're doing this trip. This is a, let's see. This is a, oh, let's just do this. I'm seeing 3 million feet. Let's do it in miles, nautical miles. Oops, smoots. What are smoots? 544 nautical miles. So you're going to be underway for like 2.5 days going through here. You got to make sure you keep a good watch because some of these oil derricks have been capped off and there's no lights or nothing and they're just sticking out of the water like this far. It's like the most dangerous thing I've ever seen and it scares the shit out of me. But anyway, you asked for the Caribbean side, right? That's this side of Costa Rica. Honestly, my friend, there is not a lot on this side. You can go to a place called Lemon Bay or Bahia Limon on this side, but all of the good stuff is on this side of Costa Rica. Like this is this is Punta Arenas up here, awesome. This is Islas Murciélagos right here. These are freaking awesome. They're called the Bat Islands because this kind of looks like a bat. You can take your boat. I'm giving you guys pearls here, so pay attention. You can take your boat into here. You see where this boat is parked? That looks like my cat. That might have been my cat. I put one anchor out. This way. It gets freaking windy here because of the way that the Papagayo winds work. Let me just show you real quick. This is all national park, so there's nobody living here. And this is kind of a pinch point for the Central American coast. So all of the trade winds that are coming from the Caribbean hit here, and they pinch through right here. This is called the Tehuantepec winds. That's this, and then this is called the Papagayo winds. That's this one, and then there's another one down here for Panama. That's not so bad, but these are the two worst ones. So it's ripping up here. And when you get to these islands, you gotta make sure that you are very careful with the wind. So what I did was I put an anchor out on both sides, one here, and then I rode this thing like with 45 knots, kind of like with 2 anchors out, and it was great. I stayed there for a few days. You can hike to the top of this little mountain, and we flew the drone. There was whales breaching in this bay. I'm telling you, dude. Not a lot of people get to see this because nobody stops there. There's no like little anchor on the map when you look at it. You got to go in there and figure out what's going on by yourself. But there's sharks in there. I mean, there was pelagic fish coming through here, and I was spearfishing. I didn't catch one, but I was spearfishing mahi in here, inside the land. You know, beautiful spot. I didn't have enough time to go to all of them, but beautiful spot, man. If you have a chance. My whole point was that this in Punta Arenas, this in Golfito, this is Horseshoe Bay, all these places badass to stop. This side gets all of the wind and the waves, and there's not a lot of natural bays up here. So I think this is the only one. If this is part of, I don't know. I've never been to the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. Okay, I know there's one bay that you can park in. Better, you go to here and you go to these islands. Here's Providencia and Santa Elena. Isn't it Providencia? San Andres, that's right. San Andres is here and Providencia is here. So most people, what they do, this is actually really, really, all of this, you can see it here as a big shelf. So you got to go around this shelf. You go around the shelf, and then you come down here and you hit Providencia, you hit Santa Elena, and then you come down and you go to San Andres, sorry, and then you go through the canal and then around to here. And like this is beautiful stuff. This is Isla Coiba here. That's the biggest island in Central America. It's a national park and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a beautiful place. This is the Islas Secas, awesome place as well. You can spearfish your heart out here, and like I said, all the rest of these places. There's also a couple islands if you're on the way down from the States out here called Clipperton and Clarion. If you have a chance, go and stop there. There's nobody there. Beautiful, beautiful islands. Okay, long way to answer that question. Let's see. Joel Keaton, 8. Do you recommend using basic sign language to communicate on boats, like rigging signs up and down, slow and stop? Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things you have to do when you don't have that voice-activated microphone system, which I definitely recommend you get. They're called marriage savers on a boat. Hold on a second. I'll show you. That's funny. Marriage savers boat images. The marriage savers. Yeah, so these are the marriage savers, and they're voice activated headphones that you wear, and then you can talk in a normal volume, and you can talk to the person in the front of the boat, and they're literally marriage savers because they keep your adrenaline from getting high. And one of the best things you can do while you're cruising around is when someone comes in to to anchor and they're like screaming at each other, you just go and get some cookies and go up and watch it topside and try not to get caught watching, because it's so fun. I just swear to God, dude, I've been in that situation many times, and I've watched it many times, and it's just funny. So yeah, go and get yourself a pair of those. But if you don't have those, then yeah, you have to do signs: up, down, stop, slow. It's like a car. Make sure it doesn't matter what you do. You can do this. It doesn't matter. But you have to know, like both of you have to know what that means. So beforehand, and here's like the trick with any boating experience, beforehand, you decide what the freaking symbols mean. What are you going to do to say slow down? Okay, cool. What are you going to do to say backwards? What's this? Come here? Backwards, forwards, what? Put more anchor out? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you need to do. So yes. Michael Peck Northwest. I'm a Pacific Northwest kid. I'm from, I was born in Tacoma, raised all over the suburbs of Seattle. Why not jump overboard and try to stuff a t-shirt or something in the hole? Well, in the orca's mouth? I think it's a great idea. You get your GoPro out when you do that. Yeah, you can try. Let me tell you a story about a friend that a couple stories, okay? Well, first of all, I have a friend named Plucky. He's got a channel called Sailing into Freedom. He's just about to launch his aluminum catamaran. Freedom. The guy is awesome. Sometimes his videos are great, sometimes they're not so good, but honestly, he's such a good dude and a good heart and a smart guy that he's got this like cult following that will just follow him everywhere, and he's a good guy to watch. So his channel is going to start blowing up soon because he's just about to launch his boat he's been working on for like 5 years. So go and watch him. Go and show him some love. He got hit by lightning, and here's Sailing into Freedom. Plucky got hit by lightning, and I bet you if you go to videos and you go to popular, I bet you that lightning one is probably one of the top ones. Oh, he also lost his Crowther catamaran in the Kimberleys. That's a really cool series to watch because he's got his cat, and it's sunken halfway, and he's trying to use the spinnaker to get it into crocodile-infested waters and wait till the tide goes down so he can fix the boat. It's just, the guy's insane. Oh, this one's with me. That's cool. It's all girls, dude. Come on. Where's the lightning? He's got one video that he actually filmed himself with his GoPro. He was like doing a monologue with the GoPro, and the lightning came down and hit, and he's got video of the lightning hitting his own boat. And then to get to the point, his boat had an aluminum grid in a fiberglass boat, which is very odd, and it hit that mast and came down and went into the aluminum and went into the rudder shaft and blew out that rudder log, that shaft log this time for the propeller shaft, right? So now he's got, this problem is bad because it's like kind of a blown out thing and he can't really do anything with it. And he went underwater, and he's got video being underwater with sharks, and he's shoving stuff in the hole. So yes, you can do that. Shoving like a t-shirt's not going to work, but plastic things, or if you have this, there's this stuff called, hold on a second, my mind's going blank, give me a sec. It's called 2-part underwater epoxy. So you can buy these little epoxy sticks, which they'll work if you like break a little piece or a pipe or something like that. But there's Splash Zone. This stuff is like 2 gallons. So you take a bucket, you take both gallons, you shove it in, you mix it up, and then you take that like thick crap under the water with you and just put it on the boat wherever you need it. And it actually works really well. This has saved people's boats before. Whereas, you know, marine Loctite is not going to work. There's a couple of different companies that make this, but Splash Zone. Can you guys all see that? Okay, cool. Good. Anyway, yeah, that's what I would recommend is get some Splash Zone. That'd probably work better. The other story that I have is I had a guy that he had his, let me see if I can pull this up on, oh yeah, it does show it. Cool. Give me a second. Okay, so this is the drawing of the underwater of the boat. So this is the propeller. This is a gory. This is the strut. This is the shaft. This is the packing. You can get a dripless shaft seal, or you can get just like a big cord kind of dipped in wax that you put in there that keeps the water from coming in while the shaft is spinning. And then here's the this is actually probably an aqua drive, so it transfers the energy of the transmission and the motor into the hull of the boat rather than into all these bearings and seals and stuff. So what happened with him, with my buddy, is the shaft broke right here, right behind the transmission, behind the aqua drive, and the propeller is now trying to kind of suck itself out of the boat, and the whole shaft and propeller and everything fell out of the back of the boat. So now what do? He tried to go in here and realized what happened, by the way, like where you got to find the freaking water, and then tried to like shove in t-shirts and bed sheets and everything into here, and nothing would work because there was so much pressure coming out that it just kept blowing it out. So he had to get in the water and actually jump overboard, swim underwater, and put a plug in here. And he said that the thing that saved him was this thing. I'm not sponsored by these guys, but I suggest you go out and buy one of these if you can't hold your breath for more than 2 minutes. And if the water scares you, and if you don't think that you could do that at night with a headlight on, find that and plug it. You should have one of these because this thing saved his boat. They make a couple models of this. This one is refilled by a big scuba tank, and then they make one that has a pump. They actually make a pump. Hold on a second. Let's see. Compare models. Where it's like a bicycle pump, but it's like a huge high pressure bicycle pump where you have to pump it like 800 times to get it to fill. You can look on this. I'm not going to spend any more time on this. But anyway, that's what saved him. Cool. Anything else? Michael PNW again. Have the Orcas ever sunk a Skeg hung rudder boat? I'm not sure. I don't know. But I know that they don't care if your rudder has a Skeg on it. They'll bite right through the Skeg and the rudder. And the problem with having, this is what Kyle told me, and it makes complete sense, is the problem with having a full Skeg on a boat, because the Kyle's background is that his family started the Highless brand and then had a charter company doing charters with Highless boats forever. For like 30 years, and they were doing 1,000 charters a year. So he learned a lot. He said, if somebody were to hit the ground really hard, every once in a while, that big long Skeg, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically that this piece right here is the Skeg, and there's 2 different ways to build that. Let me just show you in here, just so you understand. Skeg hung rudder. It'll make more sense with a picture. So this is a full Skeg. Well, this is like a 80% Skeg. This is 60% Skeg or 40% Skeg. You see there's only 40% of the Skeg there. This is a weird one. But on the older boats, the way they used to make them in the 80s and 90s is it would be a full Skeg. So this one is a full Skeg rudder with the bottom of it being a bronze piece that bolts into the bottom of the rudder, and that's got the like a bushing that the rudder rides on. Okay, so you kind of get how this works, right? This is a full Skeg, and then this one's full. This doesn't have one. This doesn't have one. That's a blade rudder. This is a full keel. That's not a Skeg, and then this would be a partial Skeg right here and a partial Skeg right here. Okay, so now that we have that done, let me show you on a full Skeg. Let's go back to this drawing. On a full Skeg, what would happen is if you grounded the boat hard enough, that Skeg would actually move and be completely lodged against the rudder, and the rudder wouldn't work at all. So if you have the rudder and it's straight, maybe not that huge of a deal, but if you have no rudder, that's death to a sailboat. You can't go anywhere. Like, you can do all the stuff you think you can think of, but if you try to put the sails up, you'll just go in circles. You can use a lot of people say you can use a drogue, but the thing is, if you have a rudder, a Skeg, and it's a full Skeg, and it bends and lodges against that rudder, and the rudder's now to the side, you're really screwed. You got to get a tow, because the boat, no matter what you do, is going to want to make circles. So that's what he says, and that's why he decided to change that into a partial Skeg like this, 60% Skeg. That way you could break off the bottom of the rudder, and then it was really easy to just call the factory and get a new rudder. You drop this, put a new rudder in, and you're done. Or, if you're a DIY kind of person, it's not that hard to build a new rudder, glue some foam on here and shape it and glass over it and call it a day. I don't know which one's better, to tell you the truth. I couldn't tell you, but that's the way that works. But what I've heard is, even if it has a full Skeg, those our Orcas are just biting right through that. That's crazy, right? So I don't know if they've sunk one. No comment. 9876 says maybe a hydrophone that could be dropped in the water to emit loud sound. That would probably work. Yeah. That would probably work. I have heard that if you're moving, it pisses them off more. If you put your engine on, it pisses them off more. Even in this little series that Mr. Summer made, if you go to Jockey Summer, he's got a video right here, I think, where they're on the boat. And this, keep in mind, if you're going to watch this, guys, this is 3 minutes of a multi-hour ordeal, okay? So you can't judge them for how they're responding or what they're doing or how they're doing it. He says in here, I think it's written down actually, that when they put their motor on, it pissed the whales off, and they tried to attack the boat even harder. So I'm sure at this point they're just like, well, there's nothing we can do against a pack of orcas. There's 6 tons each, and there's 8 of them. We might as well just, kind of hang out and see what happens. Now, would you be more proactive in trying to get them away from your boat? I don't know. This is a crazy thing about sailing, right? You can really never, in hindsight, judge a captain, because you weren't there. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going on. They might have tried a bunch of stuff and it wasn't working. I don't think that you should get in the water. I'm not a big proponent for getting in the water with 6-ton fish. All right. I have jumped in the water with dolphins and swam with dolphins off the boat when they were messing with me. I've also hung off the back of the boat with a rope with knots in it and tried to videotape while the boat was sailing with dolphins. That was pretty fun too. I think that this is some of the best footage I've ever seen is Mr. Summers footage here. Look, this one. This is just amazing, this underwater footage. So, yeah, maybe they're not really biting. I don't know. I don't really want to try to jump to conclusions on why they're doing this. Okay. Next question. Remember, we have 9 minutes left, and we're going to give away another signed book, okay? So don't comment captain yet, because I'm not going to be able to get it all. So I'll tell you in like 3 more minutes, I'm going to announce the giveaway. All right, Ratface79. Oh boy. Do you have any information about Mod X Electric 70 Cat? Oh yeah, that one with the inflatable sails, with fully automated inflatable wing sail. No mast. These sails are inflated and deflated. Yeah, I saw that at the cons show. It's wicked to me. I mean, it's cool, but the problem is it's so freaking complicated. I would never want to be offshore in one of those things. So this is what he's talking about here. The Mod X70. If you guys go and look at this and look at some videos on this, crazy boat. Yeah, it's got these sails that. Whoa. Sorry. It's got these sails that inflate. Yeah, this is the boat that I saw in Cannes. So it looks so funky having these 2 sails like this. But these sails are wing sails and they inflate and it's electric and it's just this. I mean, this thing has to cost $8 million because it's so damned complicated. And yes, it's cool, obviously, but I'm an offshore sailor. Like, I would never want to take this thing offshore. It's electric for one, and I don't think electric technology is there. And it's all these articulating inflatable points of failure is just, I can almost guarantee this is going to be really expensive to maintain after a few years. Probably super cool for the first couple, but honestly, even that, I know a lot of people that have bought brand new boats and ended up hating the company and suing the company. Like a lot of people are like, James, why don't you get into the boat manufacturing market? Like, you'd be a really good person to design your own kind of boat. And I don't want to do it, man. I don't have any desire. I see so many people, like Plucky's building a boat, and Brian's building a boat, and MJ is building a boat, and Rand is building a boat. At least he's doing it himself. And Nahoa are trying to build a boat building company. And you know how many lawsuits are out there right now for boat building companies? Like, Maradson's getting sued by at least 2 people online right now. Balance is being, it's just, I don't want to be in that world. There's nothing fun about that. I mean, and most of these companies, I've seen what it takes. I see how hard and how much of a good salesman Kyle is. Kyle has a good gig. So he's got his own boat company, and he only builds 5 or 6 or 7 boats a year. And they're nice. They're all custom. He'll do whatever the client wants. And he is very good at, like, hey, look, I'll take care of you no matter what happens. This is my track record. This is my warranty. This is my happy customers. I will do whatever you want in the boat. If you want a stripper pole in the forward cabin, I got you. And if you want a galley in the salon, he's actually done that on a boat. And that's cool. I think that's the way to go. The problem is there's a lot of people that have come. Like, there's a place called Saturn Yachts that's gone. Hylas Yachts is still around, but they're not doing too good. Island Packet went defunct and then got bought. Oyster went out of business and then got bought. Like, these are like some of the best companies that build boats, and they all have had huge problems and ended up insolvent. And I just don't want to deal with that in my life. It's just too much. I'm already going gray for my one child. Can you imagine if you had a boat company? Anyway, rant over. All right. Meat Paw. Meat Paw. I like that. Finally made it to my first live stream. Welcome, sir. Fo09J. So you dig Kraken yachts? I certainly do. I think they're really good designs. I think there's some things that I have questions about. I think that Dick is a big personality, and I would love to sit down with him and have a conversation. I want to know what's going on with all of the moves. Usually that's a death to a company. Like, I've told you guys about, like, say Cal, for instance. Cal Jensen started this company, and he made this boat that was like the best sailing boat in the world at the time. And here it is. And let me make sure you guys can see that. No, I'm not very good at this. And this boat was like the boat. And Cal wanted to get out of the industry. He was getting older, so he sold the company. And the company moved the yard, killed the whole freaking brand. Because as soon as you start moving yards, you lose all of the workers that have spent the last 40 years figuring out what works and what doesn't. Now you got to get a whole new thing, and it takes years to do that. And you better have the bankroll to be able to deal with all the problems. Is the problem. I mean, I've told you guys this many times. You don't want hole number one, just because it's gonna be problematic unless you get a huge discount and you get some points on the rest of the boats, and you get like a guarantee that no matter what you can come back and get the problems resolved. That's okay. But if you're buying a used boat, for instance, let me tell you another story. I had hole number 4, I think 4. And you'd think that they would have figured this out by hole number 4, but I know they figured it out by hole number 6 because I was on that. But the Oyster 485 at hole number 4 had a in the middle of the bed. The quadrant is under the bed, and in the middle of the bed there's a hole that goes up through the ceiling that's capped, obviously. And that hole, to like decorate that hole, they put this piece of teak trim down. So here's the ceiling of my boat. And then there's this piece of really pretty circular teak trim that comes down to like kind of guide. I don't know what they were thinking. I guess they just want to make it pretty. And I nailed my head on that bastard so many times. By the way, it's a book giveaway time. Go ahead and comment captain, and one of you guys is going to win a signed book, okay? If you do win a book, by the way, you can go to www.bethecaptain.com. And this is where you can buy my book. You can buy a hardcover, or you can buy the signed edition, which those are the ones I'm giving away now. And if you win a book, go down here and say contact, and you're contacting and you're talking to Grace. So be nice to Grace. She's my customer service girl. I love Grace. She has been a godsend to me. You can also get a free download here if you enter your email. You can actually get that download without entering your email right here in the locker. One of these is the same download. Here it is, resource guide. Or no, resource guide here. So if you don't want to give me your email, I don't really care. This is the locker, and I set this up as a place that I could put in all of the forms and, oh shit, you guys can't see it. Sorry. So here's Be the Captain again. Here's the contact form. Here's the download for the resources guide. And if you go up here to locker, you can go and get the resources guide here. Right down here. Right? This is the same thing. And this is a place that I put all of the information that I couldn't put in the book. Because the book was already, I wrote that book and it was like 100, it was like right now it's 424 pages. I think it was 540 pages or something like that. And my editor was like, dude, this is the tome. You need to cut this down a little bit. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take out all of the drawings. I'm gonna take out all of the really explanations that don't need to be there, because you guys can search for yourself. Like, for instance, the knots section. I didn't say how to tie every single knot. Actually, I have nothing about that. All I said was you need to learn these 11 knots. And then it's up to you to go and look it up. Or you can come into here, and I have downloadable watch schedules and all that kind of stuff, okay? All right. Let me show you what's going on here. Okay. Oh my God. You guys, you can't comment that fast. I can't freaking go that fast. Holy crap, guys. Look at that. Insane. All right. I'm going to give you till the count of 10. 3, 2, 10. Oh, shit. Never wants to pick up. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Who wants to win a book? Copy. And then we're going to go to new winner. New winner. All right. Let's see what happens. You guys can all see this, right? Removing duplicate entries, 1 entry per person. I get these unique entrants. Oh, wow, there's a lot. 146 this time. And the winner is Memento Mori Sailing. Cool. I'm so glad both people had sailing in their name. That means you guys are sailors and you can actually use the book and read it. So yeah, go to bethecaptain.com, go scroll down to the contact section and give Grace your address. And I need a phone number if you're outside of the United States, because they won't let me ship internationally without a phone number to call you so they can get their tariff. I have the book down to like wholesale pricing on that. I don't know if I should actually say that online, but I'm trying to save you guys some money. But most countries charge a little bit of import duty, which they shouldn't on a book, because there's like, I mean, I can show you in the back end, but there's a number, a really long number that it delineates what your product is. And this product is a nonfiction book. So it's the same as like a textbook. And they should not have import duties on books. Like Canada doesn't. Nobody has to pay that in Canada, I think. But Belgium, I mean, I was getting emails from pissed off people that were paying 40 freaking euro. That's crazy. That's insane. And I'm not cool with that. But it's also, I'm not gonna make that rule. So don't get mad at me. Like, that's not my fault. The only thing I can do is put, you know, like on the receipt, this is what the book is worth. Okay. Let's see. Let's get back to your questions. Do you have, oh, wait a minute. This is from me, Lubro, oh my God, dude, come on. Lubomir Stankiewicz. Lubomir Stankiewicz. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hi, James. I won your book and bought the digital version. Read, listened to it. Great stuff. Oh, thanks, man. What are your thoughts on the HR 382 or 352? Crew 2 Max 4 Baltic, North Sea, Med, Atlantic, circle if life allows. I don't know much about the brand new Hallberg-Rassys, but let me see. HR 382. Oh, this is a previous model. Okay. Oh, this is from 1984 to 1992. Okay. All right. Yeah. This is probably a pretty good boat. The problem with buying a boat that's 40 years old, as you probably know, is that if you want to refit that boat, it's going to be expensive. Let me open this up a little bit so you guys can see. Okay. This is how I look at boat. I'm gonna show you real quick. I go into sailboat data. I put in Hallberg-Rassy 382. I already know that this is a deck-stepped mast. It's a bolted keel. It's a full Skeg hung rudder. Right here you can see it. That's a great drawing. Looks like there's the option of having, I really like the Hallberg-Rassys because they have this option of having the split bed. And while it's not the best boat show bed, it's the best underway bed, because no matter what tack you're on, which means no matter what way the boat's leaning over, you can put your back against a solid wall, and that's way better to sleep than having your back against a lee cloth, because lee cloth are just they're not as comfortable. If you're tired, you're going to sleep on anything. Looks like a good boat. I really like that the Hallberg-Rassys have these windshields. All of them have windshields. Some of them have factory hardtops. If you can find one with the factory hardtop, as you've heard me say before, it's one of my favorite factory hardtops in the world. Now what I'm looking at is what's the ballast to displacement ratio. I'm seeing about 35%, I think. Oh, 43%. Good. Yeah, that's really good. Sail AR displacement, I like a lower number on that. So 16 is like a perfect number for me, because I'd rather not have to deal with huge sails like for a racing boat. And then the displacement to length on these things is 292. My minimum on that is 200. I can give or take a little bit on that number, but anything over 200 is my version of an offshore boat, and anything over like 350 is just a tank, and it's gonna be slow. Yeah, everything looks good on this boat, bro. Some of the things that you're gonna have to deal with and aren't the best, I think, in my opinion, are, I don't love the deck step mast. Some people love it. It doesn't leak, but if you do, the difference is, you can look up the physics on this, but the difference is if you lose a stay on a deck step mast, usually you lose the whole rig. And if you have a keel step mast, which is the keel, that when I say deck stepped, what I mean is the mast stops here, and it's got a compression post. It's two different pieces. So the deck is now completely solid. You don't have to worry about leaking. But when you have a mast that the extrusion goes all the way down to the keel, it's a little bit stronger up to the first spreader, and usually if you do lose the mast, you end up keeping that much of it. So then you can use your spinnaker pole and put the spinnaker pole up here and use your sail and turn it sideways. Like imagine this sail, but turned sideways. And you can put this as the top of the sail now, and this is the bottom, and then this is the clew, and you can get back like that. There's a really famous race that the guys dismasted the boats right before the end, and they did that because they had a Keel-Stepped mast, and they were able to put the spinnaker pole up and lash it all together, and they built that thing, and they still won the race. And it's a dope picture, but I don't even want to try to find it right now. I need to have that like in my queue. That's the difference. Okay, I like Hallberg-Rassy's. I will show you one other thing really quickly. Give me a second. I've showed this on a bunch of boats. I just want you guys to know. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I just want you guys to know that this is the difference. Okay. Give me a second. I got to pull up the damage folder. Here it is. Open. Now I have to go to, let's see. This is my blurb in my buddy Herb's book. If you guys want to go and get his book. This is the Rigging Doctor. He just put out a book called The Rigging Handbook. Fantastic book. Awesome book. And I have a blurb in the back. So does Lynn Pardee and Steve Holloway from Sailing Fair Isle, which I freaking love all those people. But we're going to go to a different one. We're going to go to... Give me a second. Sorry, I didn't set this up earlier. Application capture preview. Here we go. Okay, everybody can see this. All right, so this is a picture of an HR-42 that was T-boned by a catamaran in the slip and did some pretty good damage to it. So, sorry, I just updated my computer and I don't recognize any of the freaking applications. They changed all the icons for the applications. So what happened was they were my buddy was delivering this boat. It's an HR-42 from, I think, 2002 or 3. And this catamaran backed into the back of him. And it blew out, like you can see here, it blew out the entire nav station. And basically how this boat is built is, it's solid glass under the waterline and composite on the top of the waterline. Now, when you get a boat like that, if you have any defects in the way that it was laid up, I doubt that this boat would have these kind of defects now, because this is right around the time that Hallberg-Rassy started vacuum bagging. But if you do have any kind of defects, you can see how thin this fiberglass is, and it looks like to me that it's not really wetted down well. This looks dry to me, and it looks like they didn't get enough resin in there, which this is a job that some boat manufacturing people give to like the new guy, because it's very manual, labor intensive, but not a lot of brain power is required. So basically what this is I think Divinycell foam, and they score the Divinycell so the thing can make it have a shape. That's why it's in little squares like that. And then they vacuum bag it now, but they put a layer of glass on the outside and a layer of glass on the inside. And what that does is it makes a very stiff, very strong structure, but it's prone to penetration and shear. Like if you get hit by something, it's gonna blow faster than, say, a boat that was made with a solid glass all the way up to the gunnels. And there's not a lot of boats that are made like that anymore. And I know I'm kind of a dinosaur for preferring boats like that, but there are boats like that. Like all the Oysters, all the Hallberg-Rassys, all the Tayanas, a lot of the Taiwanese boats, the Pandas and the Ababas and all that. Those are all full fiberglass boats built by hand. Kraken is another one. Bluewater is another one. And those are pretty much considered to be like the safest boats you can be on, other than if you wanted to get into the conversation about steel and aluminum and fiberglass and how that works. By the way, I've got some cool news. the factory from Bluewater, from the Bluewater 56, is is making us right now. Sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. Is making us right now 4 panels, like 3x3 panels of the boat's layup, so we can take it to a gun range and shoot guns at it and see if it stops bullets. And then we're gonna take like an adze and we're gonna try to destroy these things. It's gonna be so cool, dude. I think it's gonna be fun. When Kyle and I were talking about it, I was like, I'm in, dude. Let's do it. That's gonna be so interesting and fun and cool and funny and you know, actually helpful, I think, valuable for people. But anyway, we're getting the layup with this that 24 layers of glass I talked about, where every other layer is carbon Kevlar. It's gonna be so fun, man. All right, one more question. Oh my God, there's so many questions, guys. Enzo Bizzati, what is your opinion on older aluminum boats built using the strong-all technique? Oh yeah, that's a man. This is a huge conversation. Let me just try to answer that really quickly. I don't know if there is a way to do it quickly. So what he's asking about is it's not meta boats, are they? Meta, yeah. Meta, there was a yard called Meta in France, I think, and they started building boats a little bit differently than the boats were built in history of boat building. There's a couple of different ways to build, but this is a cool way, and it's called the strong-all technique. And the way that I understand it, I'm not an expert in the strong-all aluminum boats, but the way that I understand it is most aluminum boats are built like wood boats. You put a grid, you build like a frame, and then you put plates on the outside, and you bend the plates around so the boat has some shape. But basically, it's like ribs and framing, and then plates on the outside and then everything gets welded together. But with this building style, what they're doing is they're using thicker plates, and they're making the hull first, and then the hull is the structure, and the ribs go in just to like kind of keep it all together and add some stiffness and stuff. You can read about it here, but that's kind of like a really basic understanding of the two different techniques. And what it makes is some of the strongest aluminum boats on the planet. These meta boats are renowned and sought after for being probably the safest offshore boats. Because they're using a lot thicker aluminum. Like on a catamaran, they're using like 4 mil aluminum for the decks, and maybe 6 mil, 7 mil, 8 mil, 9 mil, 10 mil. But on these boats, they're using like 12 or 14 mil for the hull, and that is so strong, it's crazy. I will just say that if you put in that layup schedule for the Bluewater 56, 24 layers, 12 layers of Twaron every other layer, and then say what is the equivalent strength in aluminum, it will come back that it's like 8 mil aluminum or 10 mil aluminum. So that's another thing we're going to do is we're going to try to get some 8 mil aluminum and 10 mil aluminum and do those tests side to side. I saw a guy do this on a YouTube video. If anybody knows, if anybody's ever seen this YouTube video, please send it to me, because I really would love to have this as a reference. But I saw a YouTube video years ago. This was like 2008 or something like that. And the guy took a piece of 1 inch fiberglass, solid fiberglass, and a piece of, I think, 1 inch solid aluminum, and took an adze to it, like a big fireman's axe, and like just whacked away until he broke through the aluminum and he couldn't get through the fiberglass. It was kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see. But if you guys know this video, or if you ever seen it, or anybody knows or can find it, or you come by it one day, keep in the back of your mind that James is looking for that, because I would love to have that again. Anyway, sorry, I don't have much more information for you. I just know that they're very strong and they're very sought after. They have good resale. The problem is it's a smaller market. I will tell you one more thing about aluminum boats is that the U.S. military retires their aluminum boats at 40 years. And they do that because of the oxidization process with aluminum. They just decided 40 is going to be the limit. And not to say that no 40-year-old boats can float anymore or are dangerous or a problem. I'm just saying that's something, it's a fact that I know. You pick up facts over your life. Oh, man. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple more questions, and then we're gonna give away a third book. Not yet. Don't do it yet. But we're gonna give one away. So stick in there with me for just a minute. I really appreciate you guys all tuning in. How many people do we have here right now? There's 413. What's up, everybody? I love it. I'm trying to get to all your questions. I know we had a couple of super chats. I'm sorry that I didn't. I guess they disappeared. Did they disappear? What the hell? That's weird. Ah, here we go. Little Tyke, thank you for the super chat. I very much appreciate it. Breezy, what's up, Joe? Breezy's here. Hey, guys. Salted Sailor just joined the crew. Thank you very much. If you guys want to join my crew, I'd very much appreciate it. Help support the channel. Captain Yogi, nice to see you on this live stream. Been here since you went to Cuba on the old cat. Wow, dude, that was 10 years ago. Let me think about that. I was probably in Cuba this time 10 years ago in 2016. Maybe I just come out of it, actually. That was such an awesome thing. Greg Albright, what's up, dude? Oh my gosh. So, man, this is a long story. I used to work for a company called KMT in Missouri, like outside of Joplin, Missouri. And I guess I was like there doing training or something like that. And I met this cool couple. I had my dog with me. And I met this really cool couple, and they offered to watch my dogs because they had just lost their dogs in a house fire, and they were in the same like dormitory style living for now while their house was being rebuilt. And we struck a friendship, and this couple was just the coolest, nicest. That's Bob and his wife Sandy. I freaking love you two, man. Good people. I wish I could go to Joplin right now. Seven Dust is here. Sonar check. What's up? Anyway. Love you guys, man. That's cool that you're still hanging around and following my adventures. All right. Next question. X-Ray Rob, sorry. Are you talking about avoiding it from the start, prevention, or what to do if you find yourself in that situation? I'm guessing you're talking about orcas. I'm kind of talking about both. I think that a lot of sailing, a lot of the failure chain of sailing starts from when the boats, even before you purchase it. You can mitigate a lot by buying the right boat. And if you are going to be sailing on the western coast of Portugal and you're trying to decide between a Jeanneau 42 DS and a Tiana 42. I mean, if you sink your Jeanneau because of an orca attack, it's directly related to the decision that you're making right now. So, it's just a thought, dude. I'm not trying to tell you one of them's wrong or right. I'm just saying this probably has a better chance of surviving the attack. That's it. I just wanted to kind of show you guys how boats are built and how watertight bulkheads work and how the engineering has gone into boats to take them to a place where now they're being engineered to have these watertight bulkheads in front of the rudder shaft and the rudder log, and that way if you do have a problem with the rudder and it breaks the entire boat and fills this with water, it's not going to sink the boat. That's all. That's kind of the whole point of what I want to talk about. This could have been a 30-second live stream, James. Jesus Christ. Get to the point. Arcali 4380. Although they are intelligent, they think it's a fin. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they're pissed off because one killed their grandma. Who knows, dude? I don't think we can ever know that. People are saying volume is too low. I'm sorry, man. You're going to have to turn up the volume then because this is as high as I can go. Hey, a little bit more. How about that? I'll talk into the mic a little more. Sorry. I think I have a problem with my mixer, one of my pieces of gear. All right. Bugger Ups video. Okay, we're going to give away a book right now. This is the last book, and this is the end of the live stream. It's coming up on an hour and a half, and I don't like to get too long in the teeth with these streams unless it's like a really deep conversation. But usually what happens is people just start dropping off because it's boring. It's at a certain point. So look, comment Captain down below. I'm going to give away a third signed book. You're getting one of the last signed books, the original first printing. That's this book here. So I got these on my website if you guys want to order one, but what you're getting is a book that I shipped to my mom that I personally had a card. I glued a card in. Or actually, my mom and her friend glued the card in, and then I signed it, and it says last 1,000 books. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. I think it's right here. Yeah, final signed copies, first printing, James Evenson. So that's what it'll look like when you get it. Okay. So comment Captain down below, and we'll give away one more. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to give you guys some time. I hope I have 400 entrants to here. The Sailor and the Beauty. James, what do you think about Rio Dulce for refitting a boat? That's a great question. Congratulations on winning a book. And the Rio Dulce is an interesting place. And if you don't know where it is, I'm going to show you right now. Rio Dulce. Rio Dulce is not far from what we were talking about earlier. It is somewhere around here. There's an entrance to a lake. Hold on. Maybe here? I'm gonna have to put it up. It's weird when you can't see the I'm used to seeing the borders. Dulce. Guatemala. Is it right here? Did I get lucky? No, not even close. Oh. I was looking in Mexico. That's so funny. I've actually sailed in all those waters too. I was just in the wrong bay. So Rio Dulce is down here. I was looking up here. So Rio Dulce is like kind of the armpit of the Caribbean. So it's very, very easy to get to. Like if you're over here in Puerto Rico, and it's you know you're there now. It's July 18th and hurricane season has started. You're probably going to want to run either down to the ABC Islands down here, or Cartagena is a very good spot because it doesn't get this mountain range blocks all of the weather from here and from Panama, and actually makes this into kind of a crappy sailing area, but it's safe. Or you're going to want to run to Rio Dulce. Or up, you know, and maybe up here, but this still gets hit by hurricanes up here. Rio Dulce does not. And it's a freshwater lake. So you go through this river, and if you drop more than 6 feet, they're going to take one of your halyards from your mast and take a power boat. And while you're going forward, the power boat's going this way, and it pulls your mast down, pulls your keel up, and then you go over this bank right here, and then you get into the river, and you're in fresh water. And tons of boats, tons of people live there. It's a cool spot. Now, to answer your question, is it a good place to refit a boat? I would say no, for 2 reasons. I have a very, very good family friend that refit her boat there out over like 6 months over the entire hurricane season, and she said the work was not great. It was very difficult to get anybody to work right. It was very difficult to get them to repair jobs that they had messed up on. They had a horrible, horrible experience with it and wouldn't go back there. Plus, it's hard to get out of here. So let me just show you. This is the trade winds. They're going this direction. They're all coming from this direction. So they're coming right in your face, right? So you can't like go straight out of here. So basically, you have to tack, or actually I should say something like this. You come out of here like this, and then you start tacking back and forth, 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 and then it's about 500 miles of tacking to get out of here. You got to go all the way around this bank because this bank is dangerous, and then you can get to either this is Grand Cayman, or this is Providencia, or this is Jamaica, or maybe to Cuba, or whatever, but it's hard as hell to get out of this. So what a lot of people do is they come up here, they go around here, which by the way, this strait sucks too. And then they go all the way up to like, say, South Carolina, like Charleston, and then they start going back down, and they do the thorny path again. And it's kind of like this big loop. I don't know. I think there's different personality types to whether or not that's something that you would thrive in that environment, but I'm not sure. Okay, everybody, we're getting the last one done now. Here we go. Last book's coming. How do I get to... Oh, here we go. Top chat. Here we go. How do I get to all the captains? Captain. Oh boy, there's a bunch. Okay. Everybody got their captains in? I don't know if I got them all. How do I pop out the chat? Hold on a second. I want to make sure that I have all of your chats here because I'm only getting some of them. Ah, here we go. No, I'm still getting only the last like 50 or so. Huh. Well, I'm gonna give you guys a couple more minutes actually because I'm not getting everybody's entry, and I want to make sure this is fair. Okay, so keep going, keep trying. I'm gonna show you guys the chat. Show you guys. Maybe you can see your own chat. That'd be funny. Thank you for joining me. I know this probably wasn't as enlightening as you normally would get or normally would want, but there's really not much you can do with the Orca tax. You can just do things to mitigate it with the bow design, and that's basically what I wanted to show you. Okay, all right, come on. Who wants to win a book? This is awesome. All right. I think this is the most the most current viewers that I've ever had on one of these live streams. So I've been doing these for like 3 months. So thank you guys for joining me. It's been really fun. I love hanging out with you. I'm super glad with the overwhelming response I've gotten from rebranding the channel. That was a big decision for me, and we're going to go in a new direction. I've got the Rose Noel script ready. I'm talking with John, the skipper from that boat. I'm talking with him. He's still alive, and he's talking to me from New Zealand. So hopefully I can either get him on, I would really love to talk to you, John, if you're watching this. I can get him on a recorded call or something like that. But even if not, he sent me a bunch of documents that are, I mean, I got his obituary. Can you imagine having your own obituary? And he gave me so much stuff, like behind the scenes stuff. This video is going to be insanely cool because of John. So thank you, John. All right, that's better. I'm going to take these. Much love, you guys. Oh, that's a lot. 3, 2, 1. Transducer, my transducer. Copy. And then we're going to go over to ChatGPT and do new winner. Bam. All right, everybody gets 1. Removing duplicate entries. Accepting obvious typos like Captain, Capitan, Capitan. We've got 112 entries, and the winner is Greg I2E6G. So, Greg, go to bethecaptain.com. That's this one. Go slide down all the way to contact. Contact Grace is her name. That's my assistant and my customer service girl and my all-around awesome helper. And give her your address, and she'll get you a book. Okay? Congratulations to people that won books. Thank you very much for joining me. I just launched a new service that is actually going to fully launch at the Annapolis Boat Show. It's called Leadsman. I love the name because the leadsman was the guy on the front of the wooden boat with the lead line that would make sure that there was enough depth for the boat and it wasn't getting dangerous. And that's kind of the same thing that this company's doing. So it's a reporting company for boats. If you guys are thinking about buying a boat, thinking about getting into boating, you want to, before you put in any money down, before you put 10% into an escrow account, before you spend $1,500 on a surveyor, you can come to me. And right now I'm doing every one of these myself. Eventually this will be like a big brain and we'll be able to scale this up a little bit. But right now this is all me. And basically it's just a report on how, hold on a second. Here's the report. It's just a big report on how, what I think about this boat, what I've found on the listing that might be a problem, red flags, and specifically to your sail plan. Like you tell me I want to go around the world. Every report is fit to that plan. So yeah, this is basically the whole thing. It's like, right now it's like 9 pages or 10 pages. Oh no, it's 15 pages. I don't even know. But anyway, I just launched this. It's gonna be probably a bigger thing in a few months, and probably next year everybody's gonna be using it. But right now it's just me and my developer, and we're super excited. We've got a professional rigger. If you guys need rigger consultation with a rigger, we've got a professional surveyor, brokers, consultants, and boat builders. Okay, cool. Much love, everybody. See you soon. See you next week. Come and join me. I do this every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And watch for that Rose Noel video. That's going to be a banger. Peace, love, hippie beads. See you guys later. Thanks for joining. Thanks for spending your Saturday with me. Peace out.